I'm Dr. Darcy Harris. I'm the Thanatology Coordinator at King's University College in London, Ontario, Canada. I'm also a therapist in private practice with a specialization in issues related to loss, change, and transition. I'm also the editor of a book on the topic of loss, and I'm the co-editor of a recently released book that explores ways to bridge research and practice in the bereavement field. On this video, I'd like to specifically share thoughts with you about reproductive loss. Common features of all reproductive losses include that the losses are often not acknowledged by others or recognized, that they're often highly significant to the parents. Expectations that you'll be able to become pregnant when you choose and that you will deliver a healthy baby are shattered in these losses. All have an impact upon self-identity, roles, and meaning for women especially. There's also often social stigma that accompanies these losses. And all reproductive losses involve the loss of hopes and dreams. In infertility, it's important to remember that this can be a crisis for a woman. It can cause very intense, chronic, and lasting grief. Media accounts promote very unrealistic expectations about infertility for women. In miscarriage, it's often not thought of by others as the loss of a baby, but it's often felt this way by the mothers. There's a tendency to downplay the role of prenatal and maternal attachment, which is usually strongly established by the end of the first trimester. People tend to think out of sight, out of mind. So if you never held that baby, the loss isn't real, and we know that's not true. There's also something called shadow grief, something that remains with the mother often throughout the rest of her life that surfaces at other times when she sees other babies, children, or reminders of the loss of her baby. It's important to consider abortion as well, because the decision to terminate a pregnancy for whatever reason doesn't mean the mother will not experience grief. Keep in mind there are often very complicated factors behind the decision to terminate a pregnancy. It often will resurface for these women if there are issues or problems later in life concerning conception or other losses. And one other loss in reproductive loss has to do with premature menopause. And this is becoming more common because women are tending to delay childbearing until their later life. Fertility will decrease sharply in some women after age 30. There's a loss of womanhood, loss of dreams, and loss of hopes for many of these women to have the children they'd always thought they'd be able to have but are not able to conceive. So what's helpful for these women? The first thing is to recognize the significance of these losses, especially to the women. Allow parents to share their frustrations about not being able to have children or about losing these precious babies that they've wanted so much. Be aware that many couples feel awkward and left out in social settings where there are pregnant women and children. Don't pressure them to attend social functions where their grief may resurface. Be sensitive to times when grief may resurface, such as due dates, holidays that focus on children, birth announcements, and showers for others. And don't assume a future pregnancy or adoption will cure the grief over perinatal loss or long-term infertility. Don't compare to others. And also don't tell the parents to just relax or tell them stories of how others overcame their reproductive struggles or give them advice that's not requested. This is often a loss that stays with the person over the course of a lifetime. And even if children are introduced into the family system in the future, this loss will often remain present. Modern medicine is very good, but reproductive losses are often elusive, and there's often no answers to why these losses might occur.
You will always be with me. We will never be apart. I never knew how strong my love could be. You've been such a part of me, but now you're home. And I believe love survives beyond our lives. I feel my heart growing stronger. Love survives those tears we've cried. Yes, love survives.